Hi everyone, my name is Jacob Reed and welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be talking about the sixth series of graphic novels by Avatar The Last Airbender, which is a popular animated series on Nickelodeon and my personal favorite American animated series of all time. This series consisted of 3 parts, and this is the sixth one, so there's been 5 trilogies before this. And it kind of continues the story of after the end of the original series. So if you don't want to get spoiled for this, but if you haven't read the new trilogy, then I recommend you stop watching right now. So what this one did different from all the other 5s was that it had a different artist do all the artwork. I didn't like it. I didn't like the artwork as much as I did with the original artist, but I still liked her. I still liked it. You know, I liked her simplistic kind of simplistic, but it was still detailed. Like, here's an example of that. Just it's a lot more fluid. You know, maybe something like Adventure Time, though comics, but it was still really good. So while the plots of these comics lately have been kind of predictable, that's probably one of my only faults with this. Like, the plots have been kind of predictable, but the characters and the world building make up for it. Because the characters in Avatar: The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra are really developed and three-dimensional, and you kind of get to see inside of the heads of all of them. Like, you get to see how they think, how they want to be good people. Crane Town's expansion and development, I thought it was influenced by industrialism, and that like in the early 20th century. And I thought them introducing that again after they've already talked about that in the Rift is kind of just a way of bridging the gaps between the Last Airbender TV show and Legend of Korra, because by the time Legend of Korra were fully technologically advanced by then with Republic City. I like how Aang always tries to find peaceful ways to resolve these issues he comes by, and it really remains true to his character. He's always been a pacifist, and he doesn't want to hurt anybody. He doesn't want to dehumanize anybody. He just tries to work through issues peacefully. Which is, I think, something we could all learn at this point in time. The Benders feeling their jobs might be lost after being taken over by these machines, because it's the Industrial Revolution, kind of reminds me how some people think that their jobs in the future might be taken away by computers and robots and stuff, which is a pretty valid argument, though the self-checkouts at, Walmart and stuff, it's kind of similar to that. Like, these non-benders feel kind of useless at the moment. Which leads to Liling's kind of coup against the non-benders, so it kind of creates division between them. We get this extremist group who tries to take the jobs back in really, extreme ways that harm a lot of innocent lives. He gets this base, and it's underground to try to recruit more supporters. The underground, minefield base kind of reminded me of the Time Traveler. That's not relevant to the story, but I just thought it kind of reminded me of it. And Liling just has a really anti-Bender view of life, at one point he said life without bending isn't worth living. So he has these really extreme views. She doesn't really treat her daughter with as much respect, her non-Bender daughter, as she does with her daughter that is a Bender. So, let's see. Liling herself, like most of the Avatar villains, is really complex and we get to see her motivations. He's not just a one-dimensional, I want to take over the world, because the only villain like that was really Unalak, but everybody else was really, like, really well-written villains. Some of the best in fantasy, I'd say, from what I've seen in fantasy. So the Ling brought up a point of, like, if the Oath King was a non-Bendel, if the Oath King was a Bendel, if he would be able to stop the Fire Nation from taking over Ba Sing Se like they did in Season 2. And that kind of brings up interesting points, and how things might have been different if he was a Bendel, which makes you think of all these what-if scenarios. Where would Aang be if that was true? How would he advance his goals? Kind of brings up a bunch of interesting questions. But anyway, I like that this series was more Toph-centric than the others. Since the Rift, this really got to focus more on Toph, and she's always been one of my favorite characters in Avatar, just because of how tough and spunky she is, I guess. And I like her disagreements with Katara over, like, Toph saying Aang should use his energy bending to take Liling's bending away, while Katara saying that violates Liling's human rights, because Katara sees the bending as a part of who she is. And I like how Katara and Toph could still argue about these things but remain civil, because I think, like, a good way of negotiating is to respect each other's opinions. And it also raises interesting questions about energy bending, like, and so that Aang shouldn't just use that power whenever he wants. It kind of, in case it might corrupt him, he has to only use it when it's absolutely necessary, because throughout the trilogy, he tries to find a way to fix it, and he later does. Later stops Liling, but also not taking away her bending. So that is really good plotting and more ethical, Also, what I liked about Toph is I like how Toph was cleaning up the debris from the protests and even the debris from the beach, and she made them all into statues that look like her. So this kind of shows how vain she is, but it's just really funny because she's doing the right thing, but, it's got to let everybody know she gets the credit for it. It's just kind of funny. Let's see. I like how they brought Suki back in the novel, because in the other graphic novels, Suki's always been there, and her character's been really good, but she's been more the voice of reason. She hasn't really participated in that many fights since the end of the TV show. But in this one, she gets to beat people up, she gets to T-block people. It's really cool. We get to see her back in action, her and Sokka. I like Sokka's relationship with Suki, how supportive they are of each other at this point. Because at the beginning of Avatar, he kind of he didn't really respect her that much, but as the TV show got on, they got to support each other more, and now in the comics, he's, like, wholeheartedly supporting her, which is really, really good relationship to read about. Because in the comics a lot, they haven't really communicated much, because Suki was helping Zuko earlier, and Sokka's been with Aang and Katara, and I like how Sokka was telling Aang how he is perfectly fine being a non-Bendel because he's good at other things. Even though he's a non-Bendel, he gets to value himself, and he gets to value his own importance, which shows how confident he is, and while he respects Bendels, he is just really capable and confident in himself, which is important for characters to be confident, especially after all the development Sokka's went through throughout the series. I was a little upset that Zuko wasn't in the novel, but he can't be in all of them, kind of like Toph. Those kind of come and go. But, maybe Zuko will be in the next one. He was in the last few, so I shouldn't really be complaining. But yeah, all in all, I really liked this trilogy. I don't think I liked it as much as the other trilogies, but it was still really good. I liked all of it. It was really, like the other ones, it was pretty long. 240 pages for a comic book. It's pretty long by most standards. Most of them are like, I don't know, 100 pages, I guess. So yeah, this like all the other comics kind of bridged the gap between Aang and Korra, and I'm hoping the next one will. The next one's kind of a prequel, which takes place during season 2, which I'm open to. I haven't read the Lost Adventures of the Team Avatar Tales. That's next on my list after Ruins of an Empire by Legend of Korra. So yeah, as you could tell, this channel's pretty Avatar heavy because that's one of my favorite shows, along with Legend of Korra, both really good shows and comics. So yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. I'm giving these comics a B minus. I think that's fair because it was good. Not as good as the other ones. Had some faults, but overall, really good experience, and I'm really looking forward to the next one I read. So guys, I've decided to post videos every Thursdays and Sundays now instead of just Sundays because I decided that Sundays might get too cluttered, and I want my views to remain consistent throughout the week. So Thursdays from now on would be my piano videos, my TV reviews, or my movie reviews. While Sundays will be my comic book reviews or just my novel reviews. So yeah, I post videos every Thursday and Sunday. Let me know what you think about this down in the comments, and everybody stay safe. Peace.